Alright, what's up everyone? So we are going to be quickly covering the general market movement, and at the same time we're going to be looking at the charts on what is the Bitcoin price action, and of course our major altcoins and certain notable smaller cap coins. Right now we anticipate Bitcoin to drop below 3,700, which it already has, and we actually moved out from most positions, and we are now currently mostly in US dollar tether. We are not anticipating a very good week due to the recent price action and drop in volume. It was a kind of good week prior to that, but now it seems as the US is waking up to a Monday, and in Asia it's already Tuesday. We don't anticipate anything good coming out from this week. There are altcoin pumps that are moving. I mean, there are certain altcoin pumps that are moving around, but the volume has been very lackluster. Typically each trade, you can't even squeeze in more than $1,000, and I don't anticipate the volumes to be coming back. We were stuck at the $130 billion mark. It couldn't breach strongly. There was a 4,200. It crossed 4,200 briefly, but it could not sustain that. And in fact, the take profit actually happened rather quickly. So let's go into the charts, guys, and hopefully we can find something that is viable. This week I don't anticipate any kind of trading activity. I mean, not for myself. Before we get into the episode, of course, welcome everyone to the stream, and don't forget to say hi. And if you're looking at trading this week, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I don't think there's going to be much activities. It's going to be a pretty bearish week from what I anticipate, and but nonetheless, we're going to have to cover whatever we need to cover today, and it's going to be quite an easy day to do some chartings and whatnot. So let's get into it. By the way, folks, like I said, whatever that is shared in this episode is non-financial advice. It is just more for your educational purposes. And like I said, always do your own research before buying a cryptocurrency. If you are not even familiar on how to trade cryptocurrencies, we have a free course that is available in the links that we are giving away absolutely for free. And we will be conducting a workshop in Singapore very soon. So if you happen to be watching this and you are someone who has always wanted to learn about trading and investing in cryptocurrencies, and you happen to be in Singapore at the time, stay tuned. We will be launching details on our website. I think having a crash course, at least it's a 2-day crash course. We're gonna be taking care of you for the next 2 days, making sure that you are able to secure your cryptocurrencies, knowing which exchanges that we would want to use. We are going to be sharing all the inside secrets about the space. All these things are going to be all done up in this 2-day workshop. It is very vital that everyone gets prepared and not be caught with their pants down, especially when we are preparing obviously for the next bull market, right? And whenever that happens, at least you are already equipped with the right skills. The good thing about this workshop is that although it's only 2 days, but we are going to take care of you for literally 3 months intensive, and then after that it's going to be a 12 months program, so that you are going to be going through the whole process of a cycle, and not just go for the 2-day course and then after that that's it. So that's something that we're going to be preparing. We want to make it a little bit more consistent rather than one-off and all that. Okay, all right, so let's look into the charts right now, guys. So we are now looking at Bitcoin, and Bitcoin currently now is doing the usual but in terms of OBV. Volume wise, not looking too good. Obviously when you see it start turning down, and especially the RSI is already once it crosses I think below 50. Yeah, it's already below 50, guys. So we anticipate it to actually breach we actually anticipate it to breach the current support level of 3.6 or 3.7. The support level that we are seeing right now, I'm using Bitstamp because I think Bitstamp, no matter what, is a reflection of fiat. We are going to be anticipating a break of the 3.680. Right now, obviously, it kind of reached that level. It seems to be sustaining because it is a key FIPS level, and right now what we want to do is just make sure that once it breaches, we are going to be catching it, or at least wanting to see whether the next support level of 3,550 holds. Okay, so 3,550 will be a key level to take note of. If it breaches, same thing, we know the drill is going to be at 3.4. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. We will always observe the price action. Could it just fall through and break through two support levels? Sure, it always can do that. So not much for BTC, quite straightforward, looking bearish. We want to, okay, just before we move on, obviously we want to look at we want to take note that if, let's say, for example, right, you look at the current price action wise is looking really bad. I wouldn't anticipate, I wouldn't want to say that Bitcoin is looking healthy at the moment. It is a bit sad, guys, because you see, we were anticipating it to do this, right? Meaning that we wanted to see some consolidation here, being that it finally breached the 4,000 mark. I think, let's see, once, twice, right? Once, twice, okay. So 3 times, right? It kind of breached 4,000, but it could not sit safely above 4,000, which is a shame, because you want to see it at least sit above 4,000 to safely make an assumption that there's going to be a convincing recovery. So what we're going to anticipate is a consolidation for quite a number of months to come. I think I mentioned quite a number of times that what is the catalyst that is going to help Bitcoin stay above a certain price. Okay, I must say that at least we are above the $3,000 mark for now, and and as long as we stay above that $3,000 mark, the good thing is that the altcoins are going to start moving, because some of the altcoins that we've noticed are starting to release their mainnet. Either they're looking at opening up their mainnet, or at least finally kickstarting their mainnet, and then from then you're seeing certain levels of progress and developments that are happening, that are launching. So I guess there will be activity as long as Bitcoin kind of sticks to a certain range. Okay, so the moment they stick to that range, you're going to confidently see the altcoins start moving, even though the market cap is actually relatively small. And we want to take note that if we look back in the past year, so let me go and give you some historics first. Okay, so in terms of market cap, right? Okay, let me just go to the market cap for you. Then you can basically see for yourself that even though Bitcoin prices are kind of back to the previous lows, right? But market cap wise, we kind of really increased drastically across quite a across the whole crypto space. So let's say we pick Jan of 2017. Okay, so let's just go, or 2017. Right, yeah, so let's just say, okay, now it's already March. Okay, so today is March the 5th. Okay, so if you look at 2 years ago, right, let's say we look 2 years ago. Okay, so it was 24 billion in terms of market cap, right? 24 billion in terms of market cap. Right now we are sitting at, so 2 years on, we are sitting at 126 billion. Okay, so that's a very healthy 6x, right? So it's a very healthy 6x on the market cap. Okay, and I think because it's spread across so many different cryptos at the moment, the thing to take note, unfortunately, right, is that how much of it is actual fiat. That's my concern. Okay, there is a number of reasons that why I'm commenting in such a manner. Firstly, there are quite a number of stable coins. Stable coins are very hard to validate because at the end of the day, who is auditing the companies, and what kind of level of transparency? You're taking the word of the stablecoin companies. But that being said, usually everything is on leverage, guys. Okay, so that means if you want to say it's completely asset backed, I really don't believe that there's a company that can fully asset back their particular token. For example, if you come across a gold asset backed token, for example, no one is going to say that they're going to back up each single token with 1 ounce bar of gold. Very rarely it's like that. Everything is leveraged. That's how they're going to make a profit, because I'm going to use 10% of my reserves, but I'm going to have a supply that is probably 3x or 5x. Okay, and usually when you're trading, you don't really think too much about all these kind of things, because a lot of the trading activity, you tend to leave your coins on the exchange. And when you leave the coins on the exchange, right, you're going to just focus on your P&L. Okay, so as long as the P&L is in Bitcoin and not in fiat, there will be no real test, or we call it the exchange run or bank run. Because the moment you start withdrawing funds from an account, for example, or from an exchange, no one is going to collectively do a withdrawal. I think some months back, there were certain folks who kind of suggested on Twitter that everybody start withdrawing their Bitcoins and see whether or not these exchanges genuinely have what they say they have. And I think there were certain exchanges, and we're talking about prominent exchanges, that were halting the withdrawals, right, so that they can meet the requirements. So that means if you intend to withdraw, we'll probably allow you to withdraw after 1 week, so that way they can replenish their stock. So that just goes to show that they clearly don't have enough for you to withdraw, right? That's just what it means. But since price is still relatively consolidated, and I'm sure there's a certain level of maintenance, right? And the market kind of as is holding at the moment, you don't have to worry too much, right? So human beings are very normal. They like the comfort, they like the convenience, so you don't think about all these kind of things. And exchanges kind of know that we can take advantage of having a lack of US dollar tether, in the sense that when I say lack, it doesn't mean that they're leveraging one-to-one. Sometimes they may say, okay, since I am this reputable exchange, I'm not going to name drop, since I'm a reputable exchange, I'm going to take in this X amount of tether, but I'm only going to have to put up a certain amount of collateral, right? So say 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, depending on how reputable you are. Naturally, all these things and all this transaction, right, is just leverage at the end of the day. So the exchanges are leveraging and they are lending from, say, Tether, for example, and then from then Tether will be charging them a fee for how much they are supplying them. Okay, this is how it will work. Okay, it doesn't work in any, it usually doesn't work in any other way. Okay, and then from then investors who are backing so-called the US dollar tether get a cut of all these fees and commissions, as well as there's circulation of US dollar tether, there's enough usage. And if you look at the top market cap, let's say we look at the coins, you will notice that tether is actually ranked number 7. So it's still widely used as a stable coin. And at the moment right now, in terms of length of time of usage, people still use tether. I mean, a full disclaimer, I use tether right now for most of my trades. It's just easier to understand. Tether or stable coins are very popular in with Asian markets, and the volume, when you look at tether trading as opposed to BTC trading, the volume is much more significant. Let me just give you a very, very quick example, not shilling the coin. This is just something that personally I've noticed. If you look at let me just go to we'll just give you an example. Probably give you an EOS example. EOS, everybody is familiar with EOS. If you look at the tether volume, okay, so it's 21 million here, 21 million. And if you look at EOS BTC, so EOS BTC, you look at the volume is significantly lower. Okay, So if you look at EOS BTC, is 2 million. In the past 24-hour volume is 2.17 million, and then when you switch back, if you look at EOS Tether, is 21 million. Do you see where I'm coming from? It's 10x more. So if you are someone who is relatively new, you don't have to use Huobi, right? You can always use Binance or whatever, and I'm sure you will probably see a very stark difference. You want to go wherever there is the volume, and like I said, guys, it's just easier to look at four decimal places compared to 8 decimal places. It's just very, very normal, because you're coming in US dollars or Canadian dollars or whatnot. It's just easier to calculate, you know what I mean? And I think once you make things easier for yourself, you are able to manage your P&L that much better. Okay, so anyway, back to the charts. Let's go to Ethereum and see what's the price action. Honestly, guys, it starts to get quite easy, especially when you start trading on your own, and most of the charts will probably look pretty much the same. So obviously in terms of Ethereum, usually okay, so very quickly, Ethereum and Bitcoin kind of are relatively correlated in their movement. When one drops, the other one kind of drops as well. It is kind of market. They are correlated to a certain extent. So right now you're seeing chart wise, looking a little bit. Wait, let me see in terms of the chart. Yeah, see, look at that. Relatively similar in terms of the whole price action. Same shape. So it moves in tandem, right? So right now we are looking at Ethereum. If it holds above 120, it's a good sign, but it's still a little bit too early to say. Let's look at the OBV. Same thing. I think volumes are obviously dipping. Yep, dipping. Okay, so dipping. You have your RSI obviously gonna be reaching probably gonna show the same. Yeah, so yeah, it's already crossed 50, so definitely bearish for me. In terms of shorting, I'm sure you're probably wondering, should we short Ethereum? Should we short Bitcoin? Should we short EOS? My recommendation is not to do such things, because I think the market is starting to wake up a little bit as it consolidates. So you're definitely going to get a better ROI if you shift your attention to the altcoins, even if you don't want to stick to the majors. The altcoins have been giving a pretty significant return of late, especially based on statistics. If you're already part of the CG Protégé group, right, you will see that statistically we've been doing pretty well for the past month. We are looking anywhere from a 30% to a 30% profit on some of the good trades, and of course conservatively we've had trades that are functioning at 3%. So it's overall quite good, you know what I mean? It seems like as long as we have this very nice consolidation, you're gonna see activity in the altcoin side. But like I said, always take profit into US dollar Tether, because you don't want to have this situation where you are sticking in Bitcoin. Let's say you're in your altcoin trade, okay, you made a favorable profitable trade on your Satoshi side, but you didn't you just maybe overlooked it or whatever, and you decided to leave everything in Bitcoin. And at the time, say Bitcoin was above 3,008, you already lost $100 in terms of profit by just leaving it there. It's the frustration that every single person in crypto has. Therefore, when I just gave you that very quick comparison of volume on BTC and volume on US dollar Tether, you clearly can see the winner. It's 10 times more. So, save yourself some headache, guys, and keep it simple. Okay. So the next thing is to look at Ripple. I think everybody loves Ripple for some reason. Americans love Ripple for some reason. Maybe they saw it on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Yeah, but never mind. Let's get into it. Ripple wise, always Ripple doesn't have that much of a very close consolidation. It seems to have its own support range, and as you can see, it's quite tight. So it seems to me that it's just 2 cents away, right, from its so-called low, and this is actually the low of where Bitcoin actually had a very bad drop to about 3,100 plus, it seems that Ripple has kind of bottomed in that sense, you know, since December. Okay, so it's almost 3 months, and it seems that Ripple has found a very strong support at 28 cents. But like here to here, okay, it's like 2 cents of a drop, right? It's just a measly 2 cents. So obviously a lot of people love trading Ripple because, one, it's below $1. In fact, it's 30 cents. So there's that opportunity to buy a lot of it, and people love the quantity rather than the quality. So in terms of price action, I don't see anything wrong with trading Ripple. Fundamentally, it's just another stable coin to me that has a very so-called centralized network. Nothing wrong. Like I said, these days I've really, I'm more open-minded about things. I don't really believe too much in decentralization or whatever. I just want this space to work. I just want to see the real life adoption. I want to be able to start buying stuff with my cryptocurrency, and at the same time, I personally, as a merchant myself, I'm not a merchant, but more of I accept Bitcoin as payment for my consultations and whatnot. And at the end of the day, I don't want to be like receiving the funds. And when one frustration, when client is sending over the funds, Bitcoin takes a shit, I lose, I don't know, anywhere from 5% to even, so maybe I lose 3 or 5%. And then after that, excluding network fees, it's very hard to ask the client, hey man, it kind of dropped 3% since you sent it. Could you send another batch at 3%? I mean, you could. And at the time when when Bitcoin was really hot, right? People were paying for property in cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin, Ethereum in particular. And what happened was, I think Kevin O'Leary kind of sent some Bitcoin over to make a payment for a home. And that was exactly what happened to him. And Kevin O'Leary, if you don't know who he is, basically if you watch Shark Tank, he's the bald dude. And, he sent over Bitcoin as payment for a home that he decided to buy. And just a 3% or 5% drop, right, is a lot when you're talking about when it's in a million and anywhere from 100,000 or more. Right, that's a significant drop, and he had to top up because, well, that was what happened. So it's kind of causing a lot of frustration for most of the people who are genuinely practitioners, right? And I think the keyword is practitioners or professionals who accept Bitcoin, right? As you all know, Tone Vase kind of recently, was a guest on my show. Same thing, man. He's part of the ecosystem, but he's more into general forex trading or stock trading, not forex, stock trading. And naturally, he speaks about gold, silver, which is what we believe in as well. I'm also a big believer in gold and silver. I'm more bullish on gold, and like I said, now the equity market seem to be a little bit more buoyant as there's an extension in the trade. There's an extension in the so-called current trade war until further notice. So it kind of has propped up the stock market for a bit. But like I said, the underlying sentiments are still bearish for me. And in terms of return, you can still have a great return on the stock market. But I think I want to focus on the crypto market because I feel that we have already kind of reached, we are kind of closing in on the tail end of the bear market, in my opinion, right? I can be wrong, but I feel that we are already at the tail end, and it's just a matter of what kind of catalyst that is going to spark off the next run in the crypto space. So let's get into nothing much to talk about Ripple, because in terms of price action, it's like 2 cents. You have to buy really a lot of it. So what's your range for Ripple? Obviously, you're looking at 28 cents all the way. Let's be conservative, 33 cents. So you have this range that you can work with. Okay, it's quite straightforward. BTC, same thing. It's a wider range, anywhere from 3,350 all the way until 4,000. That's your range. Ethereum, if you look at Ethereum, it's quite simple to look at as well. Right now, Ethereum seems to be I wouldn't bother about Ethereum at this point. You know, after the launch of Constantinople, I think the hype is kind of died down, and I would rather look at below $100 and be on the safer side rather than trading on the higher regions where you think that it's gonna go back to 150. So I rather be very confident that anything below $100 would be a safer bet as opposed to you trying to get in now and hoping for 150. You know what I mean? Your upside is only $25, so I don't really feel that is significant enough for even a consideration of this trade. Let's look at your EOS, EOS, yeah. So EOS, let's just use Binance, everybody's favorite exchange at the moment. Same thing, you're looking at a kind of similar pattern in BTC, so like BTC like that. Yeah, same thing. We are gonna see a dip. OBV is showing the exact same shit. You have a very sharp drop in the RSI, so the strength is no longer there already. I anticipate further downside, probably below $3. Yeah, give it 1-2 days, guys. Give it 1-2 days. This just doesn't look good at all. So below $3 for EOS, and you know, if it really falls back below 235, nothing out of the ordinary for crypto. You know, nothing out of the ordinary. So $2.35 to anywhere from $2.35 to $2.74, I think would be my range to look at EOS again. Right, I'm large part in US dollar tether, guys. I'm not even kidding. It's just quite straightforward for me. Pretty ABC. If it, okay, so maybe you know what I'll do is maybe you guys are looking at certain charts. Maybe you're looking at certain cryptocurrencies. So to me, I'm gonna keep it very simple. Anything that has a USD or US dollar tether pairing, I'm interested. I think recently there was, I think BAT. Is it BAT? BAT is going to have US dollar tether. Yeah. So BAT kind of like had some pump, and BAT is doing pretty well because BAT, right, they're going to start monetizing their browser, which is a good thing, right? And I think if I remember correctly, there is some adoption on Coinbase itself. So I'm not sure whether there was something else that got listed on Coinbase, or was it BAT that got listed on Coinbase. I'm getting old, guys, so you might want to help me out. So what happens is that if let's say BAT, right, just recently got a US dollar tether pairing. Okay, so wait, this is GDEX. Okay. Right, okay. So this is on GDEX though. Okay. So that means right now, right, if you look at the charts, okay, you're looking for the fact that there's now also a stable coin. Any cryptocurrency, right, that has a stable coin pairing, you know that the exchange is anticipating a larger push or adoption because it's just easier for people to get into from US dollars. You see where I'm coming from? I'm really keeping it simple, and these are the things that you need to take note of. Anything that is still in BTC or against Ethereum only and doesn't have a stable coin pairing, right? Usually you don't want to, you can, right, like I said, but you have to manage two things. One, the altcoin trade, and then after that you have to deal with BTC's volatility. So try to give yourself one headache and instead of two. The next thing is that whenever you're holding the cryptocurrency, right, make sure that you are able to store it on a ledger. Okay, so as long as you can store it on a cold wallet, sorry, not just a ledger, a cold wallet in general. If you can't store the cryptocurrency in a cold wallet, then it's going to be very challenging for you, and also you don't want to have too much of your main bulk of your coins on exchange. It's just best practices. Never ever trade. Never ever trade in a free Wi-Fi environment. Always make sure that you're trading either from home, mobile phone. Try to avoid it. I mean, it's to me, the mobile phone is just to check on prices and that's it. You know, learn to let things go. When you're not there, you didn't set the order, forget about it. I know that right now a lot of people love to do mobile trading, and you know what's the bad habit? I think you can kind of stretch it a little bit as long as you have certain security measures in place for your withdrawal. But if you're always consistently trading on your office Wi-Fi or your or you like to go and trade at any kind of cafe, I think it really endangers your game. Okay, it really endangers your game big time. I can't control it. I mean, I can't I can't emphasize this enough, and I would never do that. I've never done that. I don't use free Wi-Fi to trade. If I'm on a holiday, I forget about trading. I don't even touch crypto. That's also another thing. When you're on a holiday or whatever, forget about trading crypto. I mean, when I was doing it, when I was trading and traveling, it was very it was just uncomfortable, just wondering how volatile the markets can be. So after a while, I decided whenever I'm traveling, on either on a work assignment or I'm working, work assignment or holiday, I will never trade. Simple as that. Because the market is going to be here. You don't have to worry about it. It's just going to evolve. It can take different shapes, whether there's going to be STO or whatever equivalent of that. It doesn't matter. The market is here to stay, guys, because there's too much money that's poured into this infrastructure already, and you don't want to there's no way that people are going to give up in this space. It's still going to go on. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so guys, pretty much, do you all have questions? I think that's the most important thing. Do you all have questions? I mean, I can take questions for the next 5 minutes or so if you guys have questions, and then if not, I will probably end the stream here because it's been half an hour. I don't really want to keep going on. To me, the market is going to be relatively light, very uninteresting. There are, of course, key pieces of news, as I mentioned, where the maybe I'll just mention a bit of news, like Quadriga CX. I think if you watched that episode where I said that he probably faked his death, where was the proof of the funeral? And right now, it seems that Kraken is offering 100K for more information on the situation. At the same time, there has been some evidence that states that the cold wallet addresses that were stated by the company actually don't have the cryptocurrency, right? So if Gerald Cotton was the only one that had access to these cold wallets, that means he has the private keys. Where's the crypto now, right? And everything was seemed to be planned in the sense that he wrote the will just in time, and somehow he just conveniently passed away when he was in India. So there are a lot of question marks that remain, and I think that Kraken is kind of wanting to be I don't know, maybe they're trying to be the white knight in the space. They're trying to also offer 100K. So if you have very valuable information about the case, I mean, I have my theories, but like I said, I'm all the way here. I don't have time to go and investigate on such things. But to me, that was my thoughts from the very beginning. 190 million, have a public funeral. It clears any doubt whether this fellow was really dead or not, because you have to ship the body back, right? And so you have to ship the body back from India back to Canada. Sadly, although it's a private event, obviously if there's a death in the family or whatever, nobody wants to go and publicize it in public and tweet about it. I find it's very weird and disrespectful to a certain extent. But in this scenario where it's 140 million, and I think there are people who were literally wrecked from this situation. There was a guy, I think, on YouTube that I happened to stumble across, and he lost everything because everything was on Quadriga CX. And yeah, it's quite sad. Yeah. Do you use the NVT indicator? What's your opinion on the Coinbase data leak? Okay, so I don't use NVT indicators because I think in terms of price action, right, I'm someone who is quite sensitive. I don't like to use too many things. So for LED, I'm just someone who uses the Fibonacci just to kind of look at the support levels. And you'd be surprised when you use Fibonacci, right? The support levels or the golden ratios, right, kind of always come into place. You know why? Let me share with you why. Every single trader, right, whether they are using an algo or whatever, right, Fibo is usually one of the price action. And you want to put in Fibos because as long as Fibo is a widely used Fibonacci retracement, by the way, if Fibonacci retracement as an indicator is widely used, that will usually be part of one of the indicators that you put into your trading bot. And the trading bots will also follow the price action when it hits certain ratios, because you still have to set those perimeters. And obviously, you know, volume, anything that any indicator that tracks volume, and of course moving averages, so EMA, cross, whatever. Okay, and right now I realize the healthiest way to trade is sometimes looking at moving averages. Okay, so moving averages, unfortunately, if you're looking at the long, you always want to use the longer term moving averages. Okay, so let me go back to give you a example so that it doesn't confuse you. So unfortunately, okay, this is a very good example, but I want to just put it out there so everyone can take reference. So let's say if we use a very simple EMA, okay, so EMA cross, right? Okay, so I want to just put the I'm looking at the bigger play. Okay, so the short will be 50, the long will be 200. Okay, obviously obviously they are like a freaking gap away, right? No way is it gonna cross. So but when it does, right, at least it's not going to immediately cross up and then cross down too quickly. This, however, was just insane, right? We're talking about the 50-day crossing back up to the 200-day moving average. And for the 50-day to cross above the 200-day moving average, it just shows that there's a very strong price action. And moving averages are a lagging indicator. It's not a forward-looking indicator, right? And most indicators are always based on past price action. Okay, so the moment it crosses, it just goes to show that there's enough momentum that will carry Bitcoin through. So what happens is that obviously you'll be thinking, hey, shouldn't I be like just continuously buying now then? And then once, if it does cross, obviously it's a stronger price momentum upwards that could push it anywhere from 6,000 to whatever, 7,000 or 8,000. You know what I mean? Which is true. But it depends on what kind of trader you are, right? These days, if you look at the general sentiment across, traders are, especially if you're talking about crypto in general, folks, or at least crypto traders only trade Bitcoin. And because it has the most liquidity. But still, there's so much barting and whatnot that even when you put a stop loss, it doesn't really help the market at all. So right now, if you are intending to trade Bitcoin, right, I think the best way is to just wait for certain indicators to cross. That means it must cross maybe 3 out of your 5 perimeters, or even all, if you want to be very strict, all of your indicators before you decide to open up a trade. There's no rush, guys. Seriously, there's no rush. Just look at it. It's been 3 weeks already. 3 months already. What's your opinion on the Coinbase data leak? Well, okay. Could you kind of be a little bit more specific, Stranger Things? Because it's not uncommon for stuff to happen. I think that time Binance also was having a data leak. I think there was a hacker that hacked onto several exchanges, and you know, it's unfortunate. Like right now, what are you gonna do? Like, to me, I don't even have a opinion, because if it happens, it happens, because these companies, right, are tasked to keep our data safe. Okay, and unfortunately, if you don't even do your verification, you can't do your withdrawal. Simple as that. There's nothing much as an investor or trader that you can do, right? Whether you're institutional, you also leak your data, right? Because you have to make sure that you have a fully verified account before they even give you the privileges of an institutional account. So it just reflects very badly on them. It's just bad reputation, right? That you can't even maintain, or you had a data leak internally, right? Data leak is usually internal, right? And or maybe you can claim that you got hacked externally or whatever. It just shows that you're poor data management. You know, you lack the security that is required. Because, and you know what? To a certain extent, there are more hardcore individuals that will kind of they will boycott the exchange and not use the exchange because they value their privacy. But you know what, guys? The moment you're on social, right, like me, Everybody knows my face. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, how much privacy do you want? You know what I mean? So unless you're telling me you don't have a Facebook account, you don't have an Instagram, or you rarely update, you know, maybe your last update on Facebook was 5 years ago and your face kind of changed, you became fatter or whatever. But yeah, it's just bad practice. You know what I mean? I mean, client data is usually a very sensitive thing, and obviously it reflects very badly on the company, right? Yeah, third party selling data, right? Yeah. I mean, look, you know what? It actually happens all the time. It happens all the time. It happens very easily, in fact. Especially, I'm not gonna name industries, but especially these days when call centers are being run by other countries and they have access to data from anywhere from banks, insurance companies, so on and so forth. Yeah, you bet your ass they actually sell off to they sell off to the highest bidder based on per lead. Trust me. Why do you think we receive random calls from countries that we don't even know? And there are times that I receive calls from random people or random opportunities, and yeah, my data is being sold, guys. I don't participate in a lot of lucky draws or whatever. Okay, those are for, you know, I never do that, right? But I still have my data being seeped out. So how is that possible then? Obviously, right, the current systems that we use or platforms that we use that we think that we can trust, someone has been selling off the data. It's just simple as that. Simple as that, man. If we are in Tether, must it be stored on the exchange? Hi, Chris Jacob. Okay. Yes. Okay, yes. Okay, look, man. Okay, so Chris, it's a simple question. I'm just thinking about how am I supposed to structure my sentence so that it doesn't come out wrong, because sometimes I talk too fast, and and this is a very important question, I think, especially for you, and I want to take special care on that. There will be a trading amount that you want to set aside, and there has to be an amount that will be in your ledger or your cold wallet. It's just the way it is. We've always been practicing it. It can be a 80-20 ratio, it can be a 70-30 ratio, it can be a 50-50 ratio. It depends on your risk profile, right? And depending on how active you are as a trader. I mean, look, if you trade once a week, that means you're not a very active trader. And like I said, right now, you don't have to put in much in terms of trading on an exchange, because volume-wise is very thin. Right, the trading behavior is very, it's happening, but it's still very thin. So even if you put every trade is about $100 to about $1,000, right? It's more than enough. So you don't want to put too much on the exchange. Unfortunately, right, when I completely hear you, I'm a few steps ahead of you. Say for example, you have 10 Bitcoins. You only want to use 1 Bitcoin to trade, and 9 of those Bitcoins are there. But shit, Ryan is now telling me that the market is going to go down. I bought my Bitcoins when Bitcoins was $3,800. Right now, what do? Do I transfer those Bitcoins from my cold wallet into the exchange so that I can kind of cut my losses or whatever? This is the dilemma, right? This is the dilemma that I cannot completely answer you, but it's more of best practices. Unfortunately, for the amount that is sitting in the cold wallet, you can't do anything about it. You just have to take a very long-term perspective. As opposed to the trading side, obviously you're able to be a little bit more active. So it depends on your stance at the moment. Are you going to be looking at the bigger play, and then occasionally when there's opportunities in the market, the trading portion will be utilized, right? So in our Protégé group, and eventually there's going to be Protégé Pro, all these things are going to be educated. Like I said, the workshop is coming up in Singapore. More details will be released. Perhaps maybe you would like to attend. Maybe from there you have a clearer understanding and picture, and on a format on how you're supposed to approach your trading activities. Hope I answered your question, Chris. Alright guys, so 15 minutes on. Any last and final questions before we end the stream? Okay. Thank you everyone for watching. It was a very entertaining session. Well, not really entertaining. I hope that I entertained enough. Sorry to bring the bad news for the bearish week ahead, but hey, you know what? Like I said, it's best to always just look at the long-term picture and identify what you really want to invest in the space. In terms of fundamental-wise, we're going to be a little bit more in-depth on the fundamentals. As you can see, I've been pushing out a lot of content that is involving entrepreneurship, positive mindset, and I think at the end of the day, I want to help you guys to think on creating sustainable streams of income rather than depending solely on crypto. It was never my intention. I've always mentioned that whatever you make, especially when times were good, shift out your asset, take profit, shift out your asset from crypto, and that has served people very, very well. That piece of advice, anyone who took my advice, right, well, the reason why we're still having a very healthy group, although the group has shrunk, but the group who have been loyal with us has been loyal with us since 2017. Those who joined in 2018 are still with us in 2019 because we provide great value, guys. At the end of the day, great value is more of for you to stay in the game. The idea is for you to stay in the game, and if you don't stay in the game, you're not gonna really fully make money from this space. But if not, stick on to my other content. Maybe you're someone who's more cut out for entrepreneurship, to create content on YouTube, or you're just someone who is great at video. All these things, you can stay tuned to the channel as well and start watching, right? So that's all for the stream, guys. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up. You know, it really helps, especially when people give me a thumbs up. It just shows that my content is on the right track. Like I said, comments are always welcome. You know, what would you like to find out more? What would you like to learn from us? And last but not least, please subscribe to the channel and please share our videos, you know, if you feel that they are helpful and could impact or help someone else. See you guys in the next stream, guys. Bye bye.